There's a very specific kind of silence that only exists at 3 a.m. It's not peaceful. It's not calm. It's heavy. It's the kind of silence where your brain suddenly decides now is the perfect time to do math you've been avoiding for years. You're staring at the ceiling, replaying numbers in your head, your age, your savings, your future, and somewhere in that spiral, one number keeps showing up. $1 million. You've seen it everywhere. On YouTube, on finance blogs, on those confident experts who speak like they've already solved life. They call it the magic number, the finish line, the entry ticket to a peaceful retirement. But here's the truth, the one nobody says out loud. For most people watching this right now, that $1 million, it's not a goal. It's a ghost. A number that sounds achievable, but quietly drifts further away every single year. And if you feel like you're behind, you're not alone. Because statistically, almost nobody actually has it. Not your neighbor with the new SUV. Not your manager who seems successful. Not even most people who look like they've figured life out. So the real question is, if almost no one reaches it, then who actually does? And more importantly, what happens to everyone else? Let me introduce you to someone. His name is Mark. Mark is 48. He's not rich. He's not broke. He's normal. He has a stable job in project management, a house in a quiet suburb, a family that depends on him. He wakes up early, drives to work, comes back tired. Weekends are for groceries, errands, maybe a little Netflix. If you ask Mark how he's doing financially, he'd probably shrug and say, I'm okay. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And he believes that. He contributes to his 401k. He gets the company match. He avoids obvious financial mistakes. No crazy gambling. No luxury lifestyle. Just responsible living. And yet, there's something he doesn't talk about. Something he avoids thinking about too deeply. His retirement number, he checks his account maybe twice a year. Last time he checked, it was around $140,000. And in his mind, that feels like progress. It feels like he's halfway there. But here's the problem. Mark isn't doing bad. He's doing average. And average is exactly where the danger begins. Because what Mark doesn't fully see is that the system he's trusting was never really designed to carry him all the way. Let's step away from Mark for a second and look at the scoreboard. Because numbers don't care about optimism. They don't care about effort. They just exist. In the United States, the median retirement savings for households is under $100,000. Think about that. Half the country has less saved for their entire future than the price of a mid-range car. And even for people in their late 50s, people who are just years away from retirement, the median barely crosses $180,000. Now let's slow this down, because this is where things get real. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. There's a popular rule in finance called the 4% rule. It basically says you can safely withdraw 4% of your savings each year without running out of money. So if you have $180,000 saved, that gives you about $7,200 per year. Not per month, per year. That's $600 a month. Pause for a second. Could you live on that? Rent, food, healthcare, bills, $600. That's not retirement. That's survival mode. And suddenly, that $1 million number doesn't sound so crazy anymore. It sounds necessary. So who actually makes it? Who are the people sitting on $1 million or more? Here's the surprising part. It's usually not who you think. It's not always the flashy entrepreneur. Not the guy driving a sports car. More often, it's quiet people. People you barely notice. The teacher who started investing at 23. The engineer who never upgraded their lifestyle. The couple that stayed in the same house for 30 years. They didn't win the lottery. They didn't go viral. They just played a different game, a slower one, a more boring one, but also a much more effective one. There's another trap, and it's a quiet one. It doesn't feel dangerous. In fact, it feels comforting. It sounds like this: I still have time. You hear it at 25. You hear it at 35. You even hear it at 45. I'll get serious next year. When things settle down. When I earn a little more. But life doesn't settle down. It just changes direction. There's always something. And before you realize it, you're not early anymore. You're late. And the scary part? You don't feel late until it's already too late. Because nothing dramatic happens. No warning. Time leaves quietly. And once it's gone, there's no way to get it back. So why do most people fail? Even smart people. Even people who earn well. It's not just about money. It's about behavior. Your brain values today more than tomorrow. A lot more. Future you, that person doesn't feel real. So when you choose between saving money for your future or enjoying life now, your brain picks now, and it feels justified. I deserve this. I'll save later. But later is a trap. Let me ask you something honestly. Is your life actually getting cheaper? Or are you just getting better at justifying the costs? Because most people build a life that looks stable, but is fragile underneath. And in the next 60 seconds, you'll understand why even people earning six figures still struggle in retirement. The system most people rely on was never built for long-term security. Pensions, mostly gone. Job stability, unpredictable. Healthcare, expensive. So what are people left with? Their own discipline. And that's where things break. Because discipline is hard. Consistency is boring. And results take time. And this is the part nobody talks about. Imagine yourself at 72. You're tired. You just want peace. But money is still a problem. You're in a grocery store, holding something simple, and you put it back. Because this week, it's too expensive. You check your bank balance, hoping nothing declines. That quiet fear, that's the real nightmare. Not luxury, just losing control, losing dignity. Okay, take a breath. Because this isn't the end. People who succeed financially, they're not special. They just understand one thing. Money equals freedom. Every dollar saved is a step toward control. And once you see it that way, everything changes. If someone invests $500 a month starting early, they can reach $1 million. But if they start late, they need to work much harder. Same goal, different timing. Time is everything. Most people think success comes from big decisions. It doesn't. It comes from small ones. The ones nobody notices. Not upgrading when you can. Staying consistent. Being patient. Small choices. Big impact. We've been told that one day everything will work out. That retirement is waiting for us. It's not. It's being built right now with every decision, because one day you'll meet your future self and they'll either thank you or question you. So think about it. Was last month worth it? And maybe tonight at 3 a.m., you'll have a different answer. There's another trap, and it's a quiet one. It doesn't feel dangerous. In fact, it feels comforting. It sounds like this. I still have time. You hear it at 25. You hear it at 35. You even hear it at 45. I'll get serious next year. When things settle down. When I earn a little more. But here's the problem. Life doesn't settle down. It just changes direction. There's always something, a new expense, a new responsibility, a new reason to delay. And before you realize it, you're not early anymore. You're late. And the scary part, you don't feel late until it's already too late. Because nothing dramatic happens. There's no warning alarm. no notification that says, you just lost your biggest advantage. Time leaves quietly. And once it's gone, there's no way to get it back. Here's what most people get wrong. They think financial success comes from big moments, a big raise, a big investment, a big opportunity. But in reality, it's built on small, almost invisible decisions, the kind you barely notice. Choosing not to upgrade your lifestyle when you could, letting your investments run instead of constantly touching them, saying no when everyone around you is saying yes. It doesn't feel powerful in the moment. It feels insignificant, but stacked over years, those small decisions become momentum. And momentum is what separates the 3% from everyone else. So ask yourself honestly, are your daily decisions moving you closer to freedom or just making your present feel slightly more comfortable? Because comfort is expensive, and most people don't realize the price until it's too late. And maybe tonight, when everything goes quiet and it's just you and your thoughts, you'll remember this, not as fear, but as a choice. Because the future isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you build or ignore, one decision at a time.